Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing good today. Now, today I'm joined by Carl from 100% Mags, and we're going to preview Arsenal's game against Newcastle this weekend. But it's great to have you on today, Carl. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing absolutely great. Chaz for having us on the channel. First time on here as well, so hopefully it should be a good show. And we'll talk about the game at the weekend.
Oh, you're very welcome, and it's really great to have you on for the first time as well. And I thought we could start off as well before we go into the game. I want to get your thoughts on your season because I know at the moment you're quite close to Arsenal and you've really improved as well. You've won silverware, and for me as an outsider, I think you've had a great season. But what would you say your overall thoughts are?
Great question, by the way. Um, our season so far has been really, really good. Probably one of our best seasons. Um, I've been supporting Newcastle United since the 90s when I was born. So I've been here, I've been in the trenches, I've witnessed it all the horrible years that we've had to go through. So this is by far one of the best seasons we've had. Going all the way to the final of the League Cup, having to beat you, uh, of course, having to beat Arsenal, um, having to beat a lot of big teams to get there, and then in the final having to beat Liverpool as well. So winning a trophy for the first time in 70 years domestically, 56 years, since we last won a trophy back in 1969, well before my time, well before quite a few people's times for Newcastle United. You have to be of a certain age to have witnessed that and to have witnessed the 50s, of course, when we won. But this season has been a one that we will definitely remember for good reasons, but some slight bad reasons as well. We've seen a lot of players again this season picking up injuries. Sven Botman, of course, being one of them, Lascelles being another, and Callum Wilson, again, always on the injury table. But it's definitely a season that we can look at and remember fondly going forward. And like you say, we've been picking up some really good results. We've been in some fine form since December. And now we've seen ourselves, sitting in a position where we have performed to a level where we're right up there and we've got a chance of finishing in second place in the league. But we'll talk about more of it as the video goes on, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think definitely. I completely agree with you there. I think, especially as someone like outside of Newcastle, I think you've had a really good season as well. And as you mentioned, you are picking up that form now. And I think going into this game, it does feel a lot more difficult, as you've mentioned, because you are right behind us. And I'm sure if you win that game, then you'll go ahead of us. So I think having that, it does definitely make the game more exciting. But for you, I wanted to also get your thoughts on Arsenal season because for me, like I would have killed to have won a cup this season. It would have been nice, and I generally think it's really great, as you mentioned, with the history of your club and not won a trophy in a while. I think it's great that you've done that and got past those big teams. And I think for me as an Arsenal fan, I think it's great that we've got into a semi-final. But I don't know, I just feel still a bit deflated about Arsenal's season. But what would you say your thoughts are as an outsider of Arsenal's season?
Well, I was doing a video on my channel yesterday with Josh Truegunner, and I says that I thought Arsenal have fallen short once again this season.
Mm.
They've done what they've been doing in previous seasons, where it looks like they're going to get there, they're going to get that trophy, but again fell short at the last hurdle sort of thing, and it's sort of a recurring theme. Looking in as a Newcastle United fan, I watch a lot of
Yeah.
Premier League matches over the weekends, and I've seen a lot of Arsenal's games, and it's sort of similar to Man City's style when the tiki taka style of football, and I think with the players that Arsenal have got, you can do that. You can play that style of football, but it is at times you can see like the games against us in the League Cup, in the St James's Park earlier in the season. You could see, once you have a team in there that is able to do what we can do, where we can high press, we can get that ball in, we can run down the flanks. That's sort of a susceptible style of play. For Arsenal's style of play, it can catch us out. So it isn't a good style. It isn't a good approach. And I think, as was said yesterday on my channel, I don't think Arteta will be there for very much longer. There was questions from, Josh that, you could see Arteta maybe getting the heave come the end of the season, or maybe come the end of, midpoint of next season. So at the moment, they keep falling short. They keep bottling it, if you will. Keep getting the semi-finals, but never making it to the final. So I don't really see where that is sustainable moving forward, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with us on that or not, but that's like my thoughts on what I think.
I agree. It's like, I mean, even if we had got into the final, I don't think we would have beaten, Inter anyway. But I think we haven't really been to any finals for such a long time. And I do think to myself, if Crystal Palace can get to a FA Cup final,
Yeah.
why can't we? Because at the same time, I mean, the league is always going to be my priority, the Champions League. They're always the big ones you want to win. But at the same time, this team is good enough to win a cup. And I know the cups aren't as big as the other ones, but as you said of Arteta, I think he's run out of time. And I mean, in the summer, if he doesn't bring in a striker, if he doesn't bring in the players we know he needs to bring in, then I think he only probably has himself to blame in that sense. But it's such a tough one with Arteta because he's been here a while. We've won one FA Cup, and I think as fans, I think a lot of us are getting tired now. And I think another season's gone by, as you said, we've fallen short again, and it's like we're not learning from our mistakes. And I do get we've had injuries, but I do feel as though like Saka's sort of only being the main person. Though Gabriel's out, Gabriel would make a big difference defensively, but I think Saka in the attacking sense and Martinelli, those are the sort of players that have only been missing. I know Havertz is out, but even with Havertz, I think we were still struggling anyway. And I think for us, it's obviously been a different different type of season to you guys. And as I mentioned, you guys are getting close to us now. How are you feeling going to the game? Because I think for me, like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what I'm going to expect from Arsenal because we just don't do well usually against you guys. And I think you guys sort of know how to work us out. And yeah, I just think we struggle against you guys in recent years.
Yeah, like you say, you do struggle quite a bit with especially this season. 3 times Newcastle's come meet us this season. 3 times we've beat you. This could be the 4th time, and the first team, according to my knowledge, the first team as well. It will be if we beat you the 4th time this season. That'll be the first time any team's done that under Arteta. So that's a stat that definitely needs to be looked at from the Arsenal side of things. That's something that does need to be brought into question. Is Arteta doing the right thing? Is he, the right manager to take us forward? And especially like we already touched on already, keep bottling things right, left, and centre.
Yeah.
It's not a good sign. Only winning that first trophy as well when he came in. So it's definitely something like that needs to be looked at moving forward from the Arsenal side of things. But yeah, you definitely have a problem playing with this season. I just seem to see that, the way it is. It is quite enjoyable in a way for us Newcastle United fans, obviously not so much for yourselves. But I think we definitely need to be going into it still with the right mentality. We can't be going into there thinking that, we've already won the game. That's not the right way to go about it. because once you start doing that, then that's where you start to let go of the focus of things. You start to think that you've already got the game won and you don't want to do that. That's not Eddie Howe's style. He likes to focus on one game at a time, and this is definitely a game that we will be focusing on because we need that win. If we can finish, second place in the league, that would be huge. But most importantly, the win, because it pushes we're further ahead away from the rest of the competitors for that Champions League spot, which is what is the main focus, really. The cherry on top is finishing second place, but the main focus for us Newcastle fans going into this game is to just get the 3 points and push ourselves further away from the pack behind. We're, trying to challenge for that Champions League place. But it's definitely going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I think if you finish second, that would be like such an incredible season for you guys, because I don't think you guys probably would have thought that would happen. And I think for us, I mean, I don't know how far we could go. I mean, and I do think we could beat Southampton, but I think this game, I think it's going to be hard to get a win. I know it is at the Emirates, but I just think at the moment as fans, I think we obviously know we'll probably get Champions League football, but being so far behind Liverpool, it is such a tough place, and like getting knocked out of the Champions League as well. So I think for fans, I don't think we're too happy, but I think if we could just finish second this season, that's all we could do. But as you said, Newcastle do generally have a good record against Arsenal, so yeah, it's going to be a very tough game. Do you want to just tell people your score predictions, your lineup for Newcastle as well?
Yeah, my lineup would be pretty similar to the lineup that we're seeing in the game against Chelsea. I don't think we're going to really be changing much from that, to be honest. Obviously, the likes of Sven Botman we've heard today is being absent from the training footage going into this one, so maybe there might be questions over his fitness going into the game. I don't know if he'll be available or not. We still have other fitness worries as well going into the game, the likes of Kieran Trippier, who's still yet to be announced if he'll be fit for the game. Willock as well. Joe Linton's been getting some injections in his knees, been in Brazil, been in Barcelona. So if he's available for the game, remains to be seen as well. But it will be huge news if Big Joe could be available for the game, because, as Arsenal fans, and as Newcastle fans, we know what Big Joe's capable of in that midfield. So if it does come down to, as I was saying on, my video with Josh yesterday, if it comes down to being a midfield battle, which I think it will be, then, Big Joe's going to be a vital point to that. He's going to, allow that to be a bit more because of his physical attributes. And then you've got the other players in there, the likes of Sandro Tonali, who's been absolutely fantastic this season, standout player for Will. We really missed him last season, but having him this season has proved, why we needed him last season, because of what he's done for in that midfield. And then Bruno, as always, Bruno's Bruno. He's just absolutely magic, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
He knows where to pick a pass and all of that stuff. So I'd go with the same team as what we played against Chelsea, barring any injuries that may be in there. And as for score prediction, I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I don't think it's going to be too, one-sided on either side. So I'm going to go with Newcastle to come away 2-1 winners against Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I definitely think it's going to be a close one, because I think, as you said, it's always a competitive game when we come up against each other, and both sides have got such great quality. So I think it's going to be tough one. I just feel like a draw is going to happen. I mean, a draw wouldn't be the best result for us, but yeah, I think 2-2. I think either team definitely could nick a win, but I think it's so tough to kind of see who could win. I think with Arsenal's lineup, I know Declan Rice has had some problems, but I do hope, like you said, the midfield, I think that's going to be so important in this game, because obviously Partey, has been okay recently. I know he's had a lot of games coming up, and but I think with Rice there, I definitely think they work a lot better. So I do hope that Declan Rice will be fit for this. I quite like Martinelli up top. We've only started doing that now, and I don't know why we've not experimented sooner. But if Martinelli's fit, and there was a video the other day when they were training that he went off, so I hope he's okay. Obviously, I'd like to see Trossard as well. Saka. It's interesting with Marino because I think he's great up top.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's good to have someone off the bench as well. I think Odegaard as well. Odegaard, I think, could be a very important player. I mean, he's had a very poor season, but the last few games he's definitely had something to bring to the team. And I definitely think he needs to shoot more, especially in this game. So I do hope that he'll be there. Back four, I think I'll probably just go with the usual Lewis Skelly, Timber, Kivior, Sleeper, and Raya. So I think both teams, it's definitely going to be so competitive because I think both teams really need to win this. I mean, as you said, for Newcastle, if you would win and, maintain second, that would be absolutely amazing. But it's definitely going to be a really good game and I'm very excited. But before we round the show up, do you want to tell people a bit about your channel, what sort of stuff you do as well?
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, basically it's just all Newcastle United stuff, match previews, reviews, anything Newcastle United will be on the channel. Talk about all the latest news. I cover match previews going into games. I react after the games. Also, when the nationals on, I cover England stuff on the channel as well. And next season, I've got a little project in the works, trying to work it out. Might be trying to do something to do with Europe next season, but I've got to work out the kinks on that one if it works out or not because of the time schedule with me personal life, so don't know if that one will go ahead yet or not, but as of now it's basically just all Newcastle United stuff and covering all the latest Newcastle United news, just like every other Newcastle fan basically.
Yeah, please do check it out. I will also put your channel as well in the title, so people please do
Thank you.
subscribe and check it out. And to those that will be watching us back, I hope you all have enjoyed the show, and I hope you all are looking forward to the game as well. And yeah, I will see you all in my next video. Bye.